Most courses make people work, work, work before they feel like they're making any progress or see any kind of win. I mean, they have to get to the end of the course almost to realize the promise of the course. And that makes most people just work, 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 give up. So I recommend really leveraging points. That creates a winning cycle where people feel like they're winning every single time they're taking action in your course. So when you use points, you can assign, say, 1 point for watching a training or coming live to watch something, and 2 points for taking the action in the training. And I definitely recommend that every training has an action, because when they have an action, it means they get to do something. They get to win. They get to cross a little mini finish line. And that is super motivating because people love the feeling of winning. It actually releases a powerful cocktail of happy chemicals in our brain known as dopamine. And dopamine makes us feel good, and it's addicting. So we want to keep engaging with your course because we feel like we're winning and we release those happy chemicals. So you want to add points into your membership site. And it does 4 things specifically. 1 is people have this kinesthetic action of checking off the point. Then they have an auditory action of hearing the sound of the points. We love to use the ka-ching sound, but you can customize that sound effect. Then there's a visual signal as well, as they see the counter at the bottom of the screen ticking upwards, showing that they're collecting more points. And then you've got this kind of emotional, motivational hit as that dopamine is released in your brain. Now, if you want to take that up another level, you want to add the second element, which is urgency. So actually give people a timeline for finishing the course. Now that really helps, because when people think they have all the time in the world to take these actions and watch the trainings, they do what? They procrastinate. They put it off to another day because something more urgent and more important will always come up. So we like to add a countdown timer at the top of your membership site. It can count down to the beginning of your program and say your mission starts in. And it can count down once the course is started to the end of the program, saying your mission finishes it. Now, people can still have access to the content afterwards, but it just gives a structure for completing the course in a particular period of time, which drives more action, because something like 20% of the world are chronic procrastinators, and you want to give them a reason to take action now. Got the points, you got the urgency, now what? Now it's time to add celebrations. So if you're just doing points after points after points, it can get a little boring and a little repetitive and a little bit predictive. I mean, you watch a training, you get a point, you take an action, you get 2 points, and on and on and on and on. And it's great and it's motivating, but you want to start to create a little variation. So maybe when someone logs onto the course for the first time, you create a celebration. Maybe at the end of the module, you have a celebration. So every time someone completes a big milestone or a module, you can create a celebration. You can customize all these different celebrations. So you've got animations and music and sound effects, and it feels like they're making bigger progress towards the promise or the goal of your course as a whole. So in addition to just taking actions and receiving small constant wins with the points, they feel like they're making bigger progress towards the end goal. And that is even more motivating and creates this powerful narrative in your course where your audience, your students, they're constantly being surprised and delighted. And that creates this just other level of engagement and enthusiasm for your course. But even that can become predictable. So the 4th strategy is something called variable rewards. And it's the single most addictive aspect from gambling, from social media. And this is where you take an action and you don't necessarily know what's going to happen. So maybe you plant these little Easter eggs where you've got a training in the middle of a module, and when someone completes that, they get 10 points or something like that, or just a random celebration. That variable reward can take points and take celebrations to the next level by creating that surprise factor, that unpredictability factor. Just like reality TV, as soon as you think you know the rules of the game, they change the rules, and that keeps people hooked and watching. The cool thing about points is that once you've got points, you can do a few more things. One thing you can do is create leaderboards. And leaderboards create powerful social proof as people see where they are in relation not just to themselves and their own progress, but to other students in the programs. So you can publish leaderboards, say on a Facebook group every single week, and show people where they are in relation to other students. And many students are competitive. They want to see their name on that leaderboard week after week. Or if they don't see their name, there, they're motivated to catch up. However, sometimes a leaderboard can be demotivating for people if they're never there. So the other thing that you want to do is add contests. So a contest, for example, a jump contest would recognize and reward people from jumping from being behind to catching up to the other students in the course. And you can reward people with things like t-shirts or other kinds of merchandise or simply public recognition. So you don't want to do leaderboards without giving people a chance to catch up if they're falling behind, because if they're just behind week after week after week, that can be demotivating. There's one more thing that you can use if you want to get bonus points, and that's automations. You can use automations to basically create a choose your own adventure element in your online course. And that's where you recognize students for the actions they're taking within the membership site, or even the actions they're not taking in the membership site. So for example, you can use automations to publicly recognize someone on a Facebook group as soon as they join. So automatically it pushes out a notification. Or if you've got a lot of students joining at once, it could wait and send an automatic Facebook message welcoming 20 people at a time, or once a day, or whatever it happens to be. You can also automatically recognize someone when they complete, say, a streak of 3 trainings in a single setting, and send them a little text message or a voicemail or a custom email that says, "Congrats, I just noticed you completed 3 trainings in a row. You are on a roll. Keep it up. Keep going. At this rate, you're going to be on that leaderboard, or at this rate, you're going to hit mission accomplished fast," or whatever that note is. But of course, you don't want to just recognize and validate people for moving forward and achieving their goals. You also want to shore them up and support them when they're falling behind. So you can use automations to send people a personalized message if, say, they haven't logged on to the course in a few days or a couple weeks or whatever it happens to be, saying, "Hey, I noticed you haven't logged on for 2 weeks. How can we support you? It's not too late to catch up. We're here. Just shoot us a message. Let us know that you're okay, and let us know if there's anything we can do to help you get moving again." So those are the kinds of things that you can do with automations. Now that goes above and beyond gamification to a certain extent, but it still powerfully creates that validation and that recognition where people feel like your membership site is responding to you as a student, that your experience is no longer anonymous, that people cares. And this is what's called perceived customization, where you use technology to create those feedback loops that allow people to know that you're watching and that you care. It doesn't even have to be a real human touch to be effective. I mean, we've got that perceived customization and those feedback loops all the time when we're interacting and engaging on Facebook, on Instagram, all of the social media platforms, and it's super effective and super powerful. So adding these things together, adding these 7 different online course gamification strategies can give you a lift of at least 10% more student engagement, because people love to be recognized. They love to feel like their experience matters. And you can create this all through automation, through software, through a simple technology, and get that 10-time student engagement boost.